Walls are in good shape. Floor needs to be cleaned. Floor's got some holes in it from the screws. Gotta patch up. Alrighty. Here's what it looks like. Better view of everything. So you can see the wall is in excellent condition, just as I suspected it would be. Those protectors usually do a pretty good job. Got a couple holes in the floor. You can see from, I'm assuming, the shelves. They drilled right into the frame of the van. So that's going to get covered up when I build my floor. Obviously there's 2 more holes there. There's a couple back here that you can't see because of the innards of the van. There's also a couple holes right there. Got some holes I'm going to patch up, but pretty easy. On this side of the on this side, this wall is pretty good too. Oh shit! But give you guys a better look. I'll come out of here. So you can see all the extra space I have now that I removed all that plastic too on each side. I'm gonna be framing on all of these beams, every rivet. That's where there's going to be wood paneling, so it's going to pop out a little bit. Then the insulation will go in between. Same thing on the ceiling. And same thing on that wall. And then the floor, I'll be putting some wood in between the rivets. So it should rise above about 1/2 inch. Go all the way down. We'll be going all the way into the front as well. And then we'll insulate the floor. We'll drop the plywood. I'm only using 1/4 inch all the way down. And then after that, use captain's varnish on the floor and seal it. And we'll go with our vinyl flooring on top. I'm doing staggered, like grayish, woodish color vinyl flooring, like more modern looking. That will look nice when it's in there. I should be able to finish the floor by Monday because I don't think there's going to be too much electrical components going under the floor. I just kind of want to leave the floor, not mess with it too much. I have all this extra wall space to play with. So considering the solar panels are going in the back of the van right up here, be over the bed area, I'll be able to drop down on this side. See if I can turn my gimbal this way. It'll fucking turn. You get a turn today, gimbal, or we're just not gonna work? No, we're not gonna work. Alright, so I'll hold it. Anyways, so right here is where the solar will drop down the side of the wall through the partition there, all the way down into here. And that's where my electrical circuit board's going to be with the batteries. Phone. All right, let me reset this stuff down. ass gimbal. This fucking gimbal sucks. There we go. Fucking stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Fucking anything made in China sucks. Alright, aside from that, I'm not cleaning it today. I gotta pressure wash it and all that, and I really don't feel like dragging all that out right now before I have to go to work. So anyways, tomorrow morning I'll be going and picking up my materials that I need for this weekend's project for the van build. It's something I just noticed actually. So I noticed, because of the metal shelves that were in here, hey, gimbal, like, are we gonna work today or what? Like, what are we doing in life? There's already holes from the shelves on all these rivets. So, however, some of these holes are very uneven, but I'm gonna use what holes I can use that were already used. So I don't have to put new holes in here. There's more over here. I don't know how you can't just go in a straight line, but they didn't. Actually, I might have to do my own holes because I want it to be fucking sturdy, not uneven. I don't see anything up here. Also, just so y'all know, if I end up cutting the roof out of this van to install the topper, the roof would end up getting cut out somewhere along right here, which would leave the lip of the ceiling all the way down, which would eventually give me some nice upper shelving space up in that area. You can see how wide the ceiling is, so I would have a lot of head space whenever I put the topper on. Ceiling is in great shape though underneath. I thought it was going to be a lot more rusted. It is kind of bent down right back here. But aside from that, it's not too bad. I do need to maybe put some spray foam in between these rivets though. I put the spare back. Well, I had two spares. The other spare is still under the van. The other spare is over here. I did not put it back in the van because I'm going to be building my van out. It'll get in the way. It's right here. It's there if I need it. I got two spares. And another view from this angle. Tons of space to work with. As you can see that width right there, when I clean the floor I'll lay down from side to side so you all can see how big it is, but I'm not laying on that dirty floor. I'm halfway wearing my work clothes right now. Didn't the guy take it? No. You mean the tire? No, he didn't take the tire. I already took the tire out of the van. The only thing he took was the shelves and all the metal stuff. The window cages. I have the, if he wants that stuff, he said he didn't need it, but if he wants that stuff, he can have that as well. But I could probably sell that. This protective stuff right here, I could sell that. I'm keeping the rubber mat to use as an outline when I get ready to measure out the floor plywood. I'll be able to throw that over the pieces of plywood on the ends so I can get the correct cuts. So my wood will fit right in here around the wheel wells and then that little thing up there. So everything. I'm going to do like the plywood floor is going to be split up into pieces. So it's probably going to be 4 pieces going from the middle over to the middle, from this middle over to that middle, and then another piece with that special cutout from the middle over to that wall, and then the other one over to that. I'll just split it up into 4 separate pieces, make things a little bit easier. And then also too, if I ever had like any issues with it in the future and I had to replace it, I'd only have to replace wherever it's damaged, not the whole thing. Work smarter, not harder. I'm not entirely sure if he's helping me this weekend or not. He is going to be helping me in the future, but I'm pretty certain this weekend I got things covered. Everything I'm doing this weekend I could do on my own. I just have to pick up a circular saw, which I'm gonna get at Harbor Freight. There's some there for pretty cheap. So I pick up my circular saw. I got a jigsaw that he gave me along with a impact drill, so I'll be able to the impact drill will come in handy because if I gotta do any new holes in the rivets. I'm not doing a lot of foundation wood, so just so you guys know, there will be one in the back, probably just held into that one piece hanging out the wall there where it will stick out evenly with these. And then there will be 1, 2, 3, 4 going along that wall. And then this wall over here, there will be 1, 2, and 3. I'm probably gonna have to use marine sealant to stick up a couple of my wood panelings. And then in the floor, it's going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to get 7 pieces on the floor, 7 or 6. That way it's like a lot more even under the plywood that you're stepping on. It can, you know, disperse the weight evenly along the whole floor. So I've seen some people just use 4 baseboards on the wood, of wood on the floor. I'm gonna go with 6 or 7. I think like the extra wood will definitely make the floor feel a lot more stable. So it's gonna come out nice either way. I mean, it really depends. I could get in here and start working on it and decide I want to try something different, you know, last minute. It might work better for me. I will say that light up there does work, but I am more than likely going to rip that light out and unplug the cable from it and then install a different light. I'm thinking about doing one of the puck lights, so that way when I turn the van on, or if I need to turn the lights on from the front of the van, I still have at least one bulb in the back I can control from the front. Because all the other bulbs will be controlled from inside this area, and all of the other lighting will be on my solar power lithium batteries in the back of the van, which have nothing to do with the driving components of the van, other than the alternator charges that battery too when I'm moving. So I'll probably keep that, not that specific light. It's very outdated looking. It would look stupid with the nice ceiling that I'm putting in here. And then I'm also replacing that light bulb too. Same thing. They'll all end up being puck lights. And then 2 of them will be controlled by the front of the van. That fabric that you see up there is all going to be coming out as well. I was just waiting on taking that out until I got all this out. But I'm actually going to do that on the day that I'm not driving to work, in case I run into some kind of snag or something and can't get it all the way off. I need to be able to drive my vehicle to work today, so I'm not sure what I'm going to find up under there is what I'm trying to say. Because there could be something that prevents me from taking that off, you know, like some electrical thing or something. But anyways, that's pretty much it, guys. I promised you all I would get this stuff out of here today. He actually was going to come back and help me get all this out tonight, but I decided, I was like, I could probably do it pretty quickly myself. And he's a very busy man, and he has a lot going on. So I didn't want to make him come all the way out to my job tonight just to, you know, pull a few pieces of plastic off of the walls and ceiling and the rubber out the floor. I got it all. So we'll have Nate help with the really hard things, or the things that I need 2 people. Matt's also going to be helping me in the near future with the cutting out of the ceiling. I'm actually going to put the exhaust fan, not here where the ceiling's somewhat bent in at. Looked like someone tried climbing on the ceiling before they bent it in. But anyways, I'm going to be putting it right there. In the second, or just behind that light, it's going to go right there where the ceiling's a lot more flatter looking. There will be more support there, and then the AC unit will end up going all the way up near the front. The front rivet just behind the driver's seat there. And my chimney, if I still put the wood fire stove in, if I decide I can fit it and everything, wood fire stove will be going up the middle of the side right there. About the the second rivet over near the front there. That's where the chimney would go out, the ceiling. Little round hole. Probably about the size of a softball. So, anywho, in about 8 weeks or 6 weeks, this van is going to be my home, and it is going to be freaking amazing in here. It's going to look awesome when I'm done with it. I'm just really glad that I don't see any major rust or anything. There's like little rust spots on the floor, but I don't think it's from the floor. It was on the mat. It just rubbed off on the floor, but there's no rusting. There's no rusting under the ceiling. Ceiling's just dirty. It's all dirt. It's gonna get cleaned. I'm gonna pressure wash everything. Everything will look a hell of a lot whiter when I clean it. So, and I live in that RV right there actually. So technically I've been living RV life for the last year and a half. But I have to move out of the RV unfortunately because she needs it to travel down to Florida with family, and she wants to go for a few months. So I wouldn't have a home for a few months. So, you know, originally what ended up with me getting the van and doing this is I looked for apartments near and around my job, and in New York anyways, DSS has dibs on all the cheaper apartments, like meaning if I go to apply for an apartment that's like $800 or $900 a month, you get added to a waiting list for that apartment because they contact DSS first, and they always have somebody to put into those units. So then I'm left with like a $1,200 a month, a bedroom apartment or a studio apartment, which I could totally afford. It's just a waste of money to me for just a very small space to live, and I didn't want to do it because I was like, I would literally have to find another place to live, which would be too far from work, and it would just be easier to buy a van, build a van, and then move into the van and not have any bills whatsoever. So that's how I got into van life. But yeah, I mean, like, I think I got a great deal on this van for $1,000. Like I said, he originally had it for sale for $3,700, and he's been trying to sell it for a year. And I think the reason he probably had so much issues selling it is because the roof was all rusted. It had all of this stuff in the back of it, which is a huge, most people that buy these vans know that it's a pain in the ass to remove, and then there could potentially be damage under where all that stuff was. Luckily for me, it's just a few tiny holes. And there's so many of these vans on the market that people can afford, you know, $1,000 more to get one without anything in it. And I think he just didn't have much luck selling it. He also wasn't really pushing it too hard until like a few months before I bought it. And then I found his new listing for it for $1,400, and then that's when I talked him down to about $1,000 because it had some issues I knew I was gonna have to fix, which I was right about. Glad I did that. I had the money then to fix the van myself. But aside from a couple small issues with it, for $1,000 it runs, has no engine issues, no transmission issues, drives straight, sounds good. It's a V6, so it's better on gas than most V8s. I'm kind of thankful it's not a V8. Still get about the same amount of torque, it feels like, with the V6 and that Vortec. From where I'm at now, I mean, most of you see part of the drive. It's about an hour and 5 minutes each way to and from work, where I'm at now. And it's not like I went and applied there for a job while I was living here. What happened was I was working at a much more close location, but unfortunately that location is a smaller location. They couldn't afford to give me any more than 20 hours a week at most, and nobody can survive off of that. So my only options were to work part-time there or transfer to a store that they send me to within, you know, a certain mile radius. And I ended up opting for the transfer to get 40 hours a week, and I ended up at the place I'm at now, which is over an hour away. But I was already planning on moving closer to that job back when I didn't realize apartments were going to be so complicated to find. But now I'll live, you know, I'll live anywhere from 10 minutes to 20 to 25 minutes to work. I'll be staying at different camp spots each night. That way I'm not seen in the same place multiple nights in a row, and that way you don't get messed with by the police. You know, even though you're not doing anything wrong, all the places I'm staying at I could legally stay overnight at. But another option for me too is I can just stay parked up at my job at the end of the night. Like if I decide I don't want to go anywhere, I'm tired, I just want to go in and make something to eat and go to bed, I can just back my van up at my job, plug it into their electrical outlets outside, which they have shore power that will go into this van, and I'll be able to actually charge my lithium batteries while I'm at work each day too, which is super awesome. Like, my boss is the one that offered all of it. She's like, you know, you can stay here, and if you got to use our power outside while you're here, you're more than welcome to. So I was like, okay. So if I don't have solar power, you know, for a couple of days, that will definitely be a huge help to be able to plug my van in. Because, you know, if it wasn't for that, what I'd do is I would just pay $40 for the night for a campsite where I could plug my van in. Can we see the mural again? Yeah, it's not finished yet, but that's it. I mean, it looks better than it did before. But also, I'm only planning on staying at the job that I'm at now for about 3 to 6 months once I move into the van. It's about 3 to 6 months. I'll be going full remote. I got a job interview actually later today. Well, kind of while I'm at work later, because that was the only time that they had. But the cool thing is my coworker that is working tonight with me, and I'll be able to step away for 20 minutes from my remote job interview. That is for a taxonomy position. I don't know everything that the job entails just yet, but I have an idea. But if I end up getting that job, I'll be just starting out part-time with it while I do this job, so I'll make essentially a little bit extra money. And I'll have the option at the other job, it said, to go full-time when I'm ready to. And the other job essentially pays anywhere from $30 to $39 an hour, which is super awesome. It's definitely more than what I'm getting paid now. And it's remote work. I can work from anywhere as long as I have Wi-Fi, and I'll have Starlink in the van. I also have an unlimited hotspot with Verizon if I need to. So that'll be pretty cool. The Bob Ross mobile. I don't think my artwork looks anything close to as well done as the Bob Ross mural, but my stencil art is inspired by, I'd say more so Salvador Dali, because you got trees that are melting, literally, looks like. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Oh yeah. So I'm also going to be popping these off too eventually. I'm going to wait to do that because I'm going to have to take these out to get this off, the plastic, but I think I'm going to do the same kind of wood paneling on my walls. I'm going to custom for the door here. And we'll just I'll just probably use marine sealant on the wood on the door. That will hold it enough. Because there's not going to be any weight put on that wood that's going to be on the door, and yeah, that should be good enough. So I don't have to put any more holes in doors. Doors will look fine. I mean, like, for now they'll work. I mean, I will say for now they'll work. The black plastic isn't too bad on there, on these, you know. Doesn't look bad right now. It could look worse, you know, it could have nothing on them and it just be a giant opening. Happy little trees. Oh, are you talking about the scent things or whatever? No, not tomorrow AM. I was planning on cleaning this out on Friday, like before I went to work on Friday. So tomorrow in the morning, I need to go pick up my materials at Home Depot, like my lumber and all that stuff. And, you know, there's probably going to be a bunch of like dust from everything I'm buying. So I figured I'll just throw it in here while it's still, it's not crazy dirty, but it's just wood. So I could set it down in here. And then when I pull everything out, when I get back here on Friday, I can pressure wash this thing, get everything out of here. Because it wouldn't make much sense to completely clean it and then put a bunch of wood in here where you know there's going to be dust and sawdust and all sorts of things falling off of it. And then having it dirty all over again. But I'm going to be buying enough materials to get enough stuff done this weekend. I'm thinking over the next 3 weeks, you all will start to see the whole van framed out completely. And before I can do any paneling whatsoever, other than the floor is good to do, but the walls and the ceiling, before I could do anything, after I do my base framing and stuff, you know, place to screw into, I have to do all my electrical wiring, which means I need to decide exactly what I'm buying to the specific item that I'm buying to make sure the lines that I run are the correct lines that go to those items, which thankfully I don't have to have the items to do that. I could just look the specs up on the Amazon website or wherever I'm buying them from. But I got to run all of my electrical before I do the installation, and then once I get all the electrical in, you know, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cap off the ends of all my electrical lines and just have them hanging kind of like those lines are above the door there. They'll just be poking out of the insulation so I know exactly where everything is, and then I can start covering everything up with the paneling, drill the little tiny holes to drag the wires through wherever something's going to be. I am going to do 3 GFS plugs at minimum. There's going to be a GFS plug near the sink, the kitchen area. There's going to be another GFS plug a little bit back further this way by the bed, where I can charge my phone or also use it for another kitchen appliance. And you're going to have a 4-wall GFS plug. I'm doing all GFS, by the way, because you never know, there could be moisture anywhere in this van. It's such a small space. I'm doing a 4 GFS wall plug with a couple USB plugs as well over here by where my desk area is going to be. Just going to run on the other side of the bed there. And then also on this wall, the counter space to the kitchen will also be another desk space. If I need more desk space or something, I could flip my chair around and turn that way. Which, you know what that means. I'm going to be doing a computer monitor there, a curved one of the gaming mods. And then on this wall, I decided I might be able to do a very small TV, like a little, I don't know, 14, or not 14, like a 21, 22 inch, however they come. Very tiny one. It's about the size of the one I have in my bedroom in the RV. And because I'm putting a window here, right? And I thought about it. I was like, I was going to lay my head this way to this wall, but I was like, I want to be able to see out the window I put in. So I'm going to be laying my head this way. So then if I have a little TV there, I can use that as my TV or as a spare backup monitor. So that would be pretty cool. I'm going to have 2 TVs in here. You can run more than one plug on a GFCI? Well, yeah, it's true. You should consider trying to wash the fabric in the front cab and fixing that later. Oh yeah, so the only thing that I'm really going to be doing up front, like I said, is removing the ceiling, because that's coming out completely. I'm just doing the wood roof all the way forward, which is where Nate comes in. Nate's going to help me do the wood cuts to get it to curve to go forward, to shape the windshield there, and then we'll just run trim at the bottom of it. And then the flooring, like that rubber mat's going to come up. Or I might end up just cutting with a box cutter the rubber mat all the way to where the doghouse goes. So I'll leave the rubber mat that's already installed, you know, where the gas pedals are, and then the front of the passenger seat where your feet go, and then just get rid of all that rubber lining up to, like, I'd say the front of the driver's seat there. And then I can do just like a trim piece in between the vinyl flooring and then the rubber up front. I could just do like a trim in between that. That would look really nice, I think. Yeah, I do want to keep the rubber up where your feet are going to be when you're driving. That's what I meant, GFC. Alright, I told you guys I'm not an electrician. I just know it's the one that fucking it has a little button on it. It fucking will trip if it has any moisture in it, so I don't burn myself down or electrocute myself. But anyways, that's about it. I'm assuming the next thing that I will be doing is the cleaning of the van on Friday. I also have to dig out the pressure washer. It's buried somewhere in that garage there. But as you can see, we got two hoses out here on the front deck, so it'll be very easy to hook the pressure washer up to. I got an electrical outlet behind me, and we'll get this whole thing hosed out and then cleaned. Maybe I'll use dude wipes on it, I don't know. Yeah, thank you, ground fault. Exactly. I meant like not a normal regular plug like that you're gonna find it in a bedroom. That's what I'll have in here, and it will all go through the lithium batteries that are in the back. All right, guys, I do need to go inside. I haven't even drink my tea yet this morning, and I gotta let my dog out again, so we'll see you all on the next one. Peace. Maybe the drive to work today, I don't know. I will say the driving streams to work are only going to be, you know, for just a little while until I am living in the van, but it does help build the watch hours for now. But any drive streams that I do, it's going to be a lot quieter than they have been, and the phone signal has been a lot better since I got all of that metal steel shelves out of here. It was dampening my signal, and I found that out last night on the drive home. So we'll see how good everything is now. See y'all later. Thanks for watching.